It makes me smile.
Welcome to the Undrafted Uncensored cast of Pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanker. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Welcome, everyone, to Undrafted Uncensored. We still don't know which way to point now that we're in a line of three. It's that way, that way, that way. I mean, nobody has any guidance, just like Oakland.
There's nowhere to go.
Too soon?
No. I got my cell stuff on.
I
You
applaud.
know.
I didn't.
No, you're
realize,
good. The Raiders have been gone for years.
so I didn't realize which hat I grabbed. I just grabbed a hat because I had to go run out and do some running around. And right as I sat down and you started playing the song, I looked at it and I went, probably shouldn't have worn my Vegas hat.
Yep. Oh yeah, it's like
bad taste.
So
I apologize, Oakland fans. It's not intentional. I just grabbed the first hat I saw.
Nick is an asshole, so therefore we'll just take care. We'll take care of that real quick, everybody.
There you go. Yeah, that's the same thing that the Oakland A's owner said. He said, "Sorry, A's fans, nothing personal, but it's just how it goes." It's just the first city I found.
Terrible situation.
So we'll start there just to make it easier because I know we'll probably take a little bit longer on the other MLB story. I watched I watched the last inning and a half just because, the Rockies were done and it was just one of those things where I wanted to kind of feel like part of it because I couldn't be there because I truly feel bad for Oakland A's fans. This is a loyal fan base, and you've been there before, Colin, so those fans they're committed to their team, and they've just been beat down. The city of Oakland is just a punching ground because they lost the Warriors, they lost the Raiders, they're losing the A's, and now all they have to fill that stadium is a soccer team. Ooh. And these fans didn't do anything to deserve that. This is a bunch of greedy mucky mucks that were lucky that the Padres owner ended up dying because he was the only one that was trying to stop this.
Yeah, and even they do have another baseball team, but it's not. You're not going to fill the stadium with a minor league team.
No,
and not that stadium was getting filled with a major league team, but that's more on the management and what they've done. I've been out there multiple times and. Have friendship with some people out there, in the right field stands, and seeing Belfour come in to close the game and
the rage,
all the rage going on, all the fans, grabbing their hands. I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, is everyone in this stadium having a seizure? It's the middle of the day. There's the light. I know there's a light show, but yikes! All. The first time I was there, all 2,000 people were just
such an angry Aussie.
It was awesome though. It was great. It was cool, and I was like, okay, this is awesome. Everyone's doing it. So I jumped in, but yeah, losing it, and them taking. I heard one thing. People were like, "Oh, people are stealing the chairs that are bolted down," and the comment was. John Fisher didn't pay to bolt those down.
Yeah.
And then it's like we have 6 security guards chasing after 2 gentlemen with chairs. I'm like, really? That's what you're worried about?
Yeah.
You got 6 security guards.
Chairs.
Yeah.
First of all,
someone with 2 chairs.
That's dangerous. Like, we're arming the security guards with chairs now.
Yes. They were chasing them
with chairs.
Yes. They were chasing 2 guys.
Yeah,
they had chairs that they stole.
And I don't know how much you've been through social media with some of the stuff. I follow a couple Ace fans. I follow a couple A's reporters. I just happen to stumble upon them, and one of them is kind of attractive. So we'll just leave that at that. Thank you, Jessica Kleinschmidt. We love you.
Sure, yeah.
But just watching some of the things that. This is a community loss. This is more than just a team moving. This is more than what happened with the Expos. This is ripping the heart out of a city that doesn't have a whole lot to hold on to in the first place. And mad respect to the grounds crew for standing there on the warning track as people were holding bottles and bags and taking them and filling them with dirt. Mad respect to that crew.
Yeah.
That was just class. That was a class act right there. And that just shows you how good of an organization, like outside of Fisher and all his cronies, how good of an organization it really is.
Well, I think that's the baseball fan portion, because I don't know if you can say organizationally wise that it's a good organization, but that's the people who are there and who are working for the team that understand what a moment this is and what the moment means to the people who are there wanting to get some of that dirt and those memories. Part of the reason why I wish I was there, I'm going to put in some calls to see if I can get a little bit of that dirt, because I have some from Truist Park. I have some.
Oh, nice.
I have some from Dodger Stadium when I went, but I'll never get a chance to get it from the baseball portion of the Coliseum, and it's just a cool little memento thing that I have, and to keep as a little keepsake. So kind of like the little stupid things that we hang on to, and I just think it's that, like I said, it speaks more not to the organization, but it speaks to the people that were still working there with the team like that, to understand the moment in time and what everyone was going through, to let them do that.
And it's just again, watching the game, I watched the post game coverage too, and I couldn't help but get choked up a little bit too. Like watching some of these fans. I mean, there's a little kid, probably about 10, 11, 12 years old, and he's crying because he understands the gravity of what's going on right now. And I mean, you're ruining generations of families that accepted you, embraced you, and held on to you through thick and thin, through Moneyball, through 3 consecutive World Series championships, through the Bash Brothers. And now here you are, you're just like, these people don't even matter. And I know it's all about the bottom dollar, and I'm just the owner. I want to be whatever lines my pockets is really what's more important.
Bet your bottom dollar
you have to be a human too.
Yeah, it's and like you said too, it's like they got their heart ripped out, but it's like they already had their heart ripped out a few years ago when the Raiders left, and then somebody reached in and found their other heart and ripped that shit out too. Like it makes you feel really bad. Like, we used to joke about how, we wouldn't wish that upon anybody except Raider fans. But now, like, man, I feel bad for, Raider and by extension A's fans now, because it's a lot of the same people. A lot of people just like sports. When you have a baseball team to root for in your city, you end up, rooting for them, unlike Denver.
On the plus side, at least the A's aren't going to New York or Boston like most people do when they leave Oakland.
Yeah.
Hey-oh. Sorry,
they have left to go out east plenty, haven't they?
Yeah, sadly the trend is now go from Oakland to Vegas.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, NBA expansion into Oakland, and then move it in second team in Vegas.
No, there's not going to be another Bay Area basketball team. I can guarantee you that much.
Yeah. Have you talked to any the last couple of days? Talked to any of your friends from Oakland?
I sent Will a message. I haven't followed up with him. This is one of those tough times where, you have to give some space. In my opinion, that's what I'm doing, is really give space. Yeah. I mean, it's a bad breakup for these guys.
Oh yeah.
That's like that for a lot of them. Like I said, my time out there, they literally became family, and they were at each other's, births of babies. They all went on road trips together. I mean, the stories that I heard, that they went like 50 deep on road trips to watch the team play, and they were just following the team around. And they said best friends at weddings. They've seen each other's children grow up. I mean, the A's, they moved to Oakland in 1968 and have won 4 World Series titles in Oakland.
Yep.
And they had 5 more before that, 9 total. So just the Oakland aspect, they've won 4 championships there. And so many of these people, obviously not all those people that I talked to were from 1968 or their first championship in 72, but many of them had been around to see them, especially in 89 in their last championship that they won.
Yeah.
And to see that, and like I said, see the generations that were grown up on, A stuff and the fandom, and being around. I told the story about the first time I went there where they literally passed the baby around the stands. It's your turn with the baby, your turn with the baby, your turn with the baby. And that's what grew out of it. And those relationships, friendships, that'll last far longer than obviously this baseball team does, but you don't anticipate something like that happening with a storied franchise that is won. I mean, like I said, that's won so much, with 9 total championships, but 4 in the Oakland area, whether it was at Municipal or the Coliseum. Or no, Municipal was before. Excuse me. No, they were all at the Coliseum. Excuse me. They were all at the Coliseum. Municipal's in Kansas City. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where they were all like they just won everything there. They've won pennants, and you said the Bash brothers, the Ricky Hendersons going out east, and Giambi too. But there's a multitude of guys that have been there and have made a name, and we've seen some. We've honestly here in Colorado, we've seen a lot of fruits of the ineptitude of Oakland management here in Denver, because Cargo, Houston, yep, exactly. Like those were 2 key players for the Rockies in some great Rockies moments. So
Giambi,
it sucks. Walk off. Yeah. Golden Thong,
He was here. I remember, I was going to say, didn't Giambi play here for a little bit?
Yeah. He was here at the end. It's just, but that wasn't, that was Oakland's not screw up, but it wasn't directly from Oakland the way that we got Street and Cargo.
Yeah.
So I just, it sucks, it really sucks. I wish they could have gone out making the playoffs. I would have loved to have seen them make the playoffs and everyone steal the seats in the very last game, and then no one have a place to sit in a playoff game.
That'd be great.
But I feel for them, I talked about it. I know we're going to go into the Rockies, but I talked about how that's a fan base that has a passion for the game that I don't see here in Colorado.
No.
And it's sad.
One of those rare things too, because I mean, you've been around the country enough that there are certain areas where they like their baseball team, they appreciate their baseball team, but you can't talk baseball with them.
Yeah.
Like you go to New York, you go to Boston,
St. Louis,
Philadelphia, St. Louis, Chicago. They talk baseball. You can sit there and you can have a conversation with a random person on the bus wearing a Cubs jersey and just talk baseball the whole bus ride to Wrigley Field. You go to Oakland, same thing. You can sit on the BART, and whatever A's fan, one of you two is going to at some point start talking the game.
Yep.
And it's a good conversation. It's a good, legitimate baseball conversation. And you don't get that everywhere. I mean, there's baseball fans, but like some of those fans are far and few between.
Yeah,
really making me want lemonade right now.
This is not lemonade. It is blackberry bubbly.
Ooh,
pineapple juice.
Oh,
I like that little bit extra flavor to the buble.
Yeah.
Because
Open for sponsorships, guys.
Yeah.
You know someone at any of those places.
yeah.
Fucking hit them up.
Yeah, hashtag not a sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean it was I just wanted to start with that because I truly feel terrible for the city of Oakland and those Oakland A's fans that just had no choice in what was happening. They tried to do everything they could, and with the passing of the Padres owner, who was the only one that was trying to stop any of this from happening, nobody had a set of balls to stand in front of Fisher and say, no, this is stupid.
Yeah, and that he's a bad owner. This is, I don't know if you guys saw the news broadcast, but the guy, I love the news broadcast where he ripped up his thing and went on his rant, and he's like, "Hey, I hope that everything falls through in Sacramento, and then Major League Baseball forces him out, and somehow they can find a way back." I mean, that is a pipe dream about his. I hope his dream comes true. Much like I hope that Sidney Crosby comes to the Avs. We know it's far-fetched. We know it's there's possibilities. It could happen.
Chance of the A's going back to Oakland.
Is it likely? No, not very likely. and it's
Why
just.
you're
But there's still a little bit of hope. It could possibly happen.
You
But
never know.
I love the fact that he when the guy went on his rant, the news anchor.
Yes.
I'm blanking on his name.
I can't remember his name either, but it was beautiful.
I will pull it up.
That guy.
But the news anchor who went up and ripped it up. But the way that he said, "Hey, I hope it fails miserably in Sacramento. I hope you can't get everything together, just like you BS
Couldn't
your way
do it
into
here.
saying that you tried here in Oakland."
Yeah.
And then Major League Baseball steps in and brings baseball back to Oakland. That would be talk about the ultimate comeback.
Montfort wouldn't allow that.
Way.
He would find another way to find somewhere else for them to go. Montfort's just as much about the money as everybody else. He's a POS.
Manfred
doesn't belong in baseball, and he's destroying the game slowly but surely.
You mean Manfred?
Yeah, Rob Manfred. You said Montfort.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, either way, you're right, but I was pretty sure you meant the other guy.
Yeah, I was like, I mean,
Manfred, yes.
Not that everything you said was wrong, but I think it was the wrong context of what we were talking about.
Yeah, it works both ways.
Yes. Rob Manfred, yes. He's just a coward. He's not going to stand up to any owners. I mean, clearly he didn't this time.
Is baseball talking about expansion like the NBA is? So we get the A's to change their name in Vegas, and then they get the expansion team and just call it the A's. That's worked out great for the Browns.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a classic organization you want to mimic.
Yeah, that's perfect.
It's gonna happen for Seattle. They're gonna get an expansion draft team. They're gonna call it the Sonics, but and we'll see. Maybe they end up getting a decent team, kind of the way the Golden Knights did. But when you fill your team with nothing but everyone's like ninth best player, it's gonna take you a little bit.
Beal, Larry Beal.
Okay.
Or Bile. I think it's Beal, not Bile, but Beil. Yeah, Larry Beal, the news reporter for ABC in the Bay Area. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, that was. I started watching it, and I was like, "This dude might get fired."
I didn't see it.
I thought they were gonna have to do.
I thought they were gonna cut away.
I thought they were gonna have to hit the dump button.
Yeah,
they'll just type up Larry Beal news report. I think we'll get. I don't think we can replay it on here. The whole thing.
No, I think they'll
cut it. They'll cut our video.
Yeah. So, I mean, we love you, Oakland. We feel for you.
We love you, Oakland. We love you, Oakland. We love you, Oakland. Hey, not you, John Fisher.
There we go.
Yeah,
I like that. So moving on. I'm not even gonna. That's the exclamation point.
That's one of their chants.
I know. That's why I'm saying
every time they score a run.
That's great.
Speaking of ending, we must say our goodbyes over the weekend to one Charlie Blackmon. Chuck Nasty is calling it a career after 14 years.
Charlie Blackmon!
Yes. And so the debate becomes, let's start with the debate. Do the Rockies retire the number 19? Is he that elite of a Rocky, or is he the Hall of really good?
I mean, I could see it going either way. Like, it's not because I don't think it's because he's been amazing or anything. He kind of reminds me of like a Udonis Haslem type, who's just been here for so long and been a part of the team and leadership and that kind of thing. I wouldn't be against it if they did. How many numbers do they have retired? Is it just Helton
2
and Walker?
Technically 3.
Yeah.
3?
Jackie Robinson.
Oh, well, yeah.
But that's every stadium.
Yeah, that's everybody. Okay. But, yeah, so is it just Larry Walker and Todd Helton?
Mm-hmm.
Did I get those 2 right?
Yep.
Sports. Yeah, I wouldn't be against it. Thinking of like the third best all-time Rocky as a non-baseball guy, I guess, because you're not gonna retire Nolan's number. He didn't play his whole career here or anything like that, One of the other like 90s guys. No, yeah, fuck it.
Don't put it past him to have a Nolan Arenado appreciation day.
Right.
Oh God. Retire his number.
Well, I mean, I don't really want to get off subject, but they were literally having like a Nolan promotion when the Cardinals were coming to town. Like,
Yeah.
Great.
like, come watch former Rocky Nolan Arenado at Coors Field.
Of course they were.
Like,
Come buy tickets. Look at the guy.
Look at the guy we gave away.
Yeah.
Okay, but back to Charlie. Yeah, you retire. It's a pretty easy decision because one, it was his whole career here. He was the face of the Rockies through a lot of different iterations of the team. His walk-up song is iconic.
Yeah.
You have to put the number in the outfield. Like you have to. It doesn't matter where these other numbers are going, but his belongs there in the outfield.
It's just
tonight. But yeah, maybe it's one of those that, I mean, after talking about the A's, Lord willing, in 50 years, we're able to look back and say, yeah, Charlie was a great player. He might not deserve to have had his number retired. We don't know it all. Kind of like you look at some of those Broncos numbers, you're like, did they really deserve that number to be retired, seeing what's happening now? But in the moment, what he meant to this team at this moment in time, yeah, he deserves this number up there for 14 years of service and leading the way through a lot of different things and being part of some of the best times the Rockies ever, that were ever, and some of the best games that were ever played at Coors Field. Or not best games, I guess. He was part of just some really damn good teams. And he's also through some bad ones, but he got an MVP vote 1 year, but he was won 2 batting titles, or no, I think 2 batting titles, 5 Gold Gloves,
4-time All-Star. He's received MVP votes twice, 2 Silver Sluggers.
2 Silver Sluggers. Yeah.
So probably not a Hall of Famer, but deserves to have his number retired as a Rocky.
4-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger, and a batting title.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be a great, but he's a great here, and that's kind of what that is for. And I really, like I said, when I think about some of the other names that are retired in other sports, I mean, are around town, like, and it's hard to compare them all. But when you're sitting with the Rockies, like I said, you hope that in 50 years you look up and it's kind of like, who the hell was that guy? And someone could tell a story of, well, this is what Charlie Blackmon meant to this city and to this team.
Is he kind of the equivalent of Ray Bourque, maybe?
Well, but Bourque was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but it was a season.
Well, Bourque is kind of the
the Bourque retirement. I mean, no, the Bourque retirement was I think you're on the wrong path there, Nick.
I feel like that's just because Bourque was so great. It's kind of like the Jackie Robinson or Michael Jordan, 23. They were talking about retiring that number across the NBA. I think they kind of did, but if you had that number before, you could keep it. Like Draymond keeps 23, but I think that's kind of how I picture it. It's just the greatness of Ray Bourque, and we got him for the year. We got the cup, and it was amazing, and that was what he needed. But I don't think the entire league would, but that's kind of how I took that one. What do you think, Colin? Think that's more accurate?
No, because I like Bourque.
No,
I just don't think. I think the whole Bourque retirement is a whole sham, and like the only reason they wanted to do that was because they wanted to beat Boston to something. I think it was a total joke. This is a totally different thing. This is like years of service. Like Ray Bourque, was part of helping to win a championship, but he also wasn't. He was a key piece, but he wasn't the key piece. Whereas for so many years, Charlie Blackmon was such a key player for the Rockies, and through thick and thin, he was here and he didn't leave. Whether or not it was an option, and the Rockies turned it down, whatever it was, he's still stayed here, and he calls Colorado home. So, he was the face of the franchise for that long. Anytime you're the face of the franchise for what you say. Basically 8 years, 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, basically most of his career.
Yeah, I mean, 8 to 10 years. He was the person you knew day in, day out that would be playing. Because even through those things, we talked about the Nolan. We didn't mention Tulo, but there were guys who were in and out of the lineups. But every day you knew that you would hear the walk up. The outfield playing to start the game, and and by the third inning, sometimes the second inning, depending on if the humidor was turned on or not, you would hear that song again, and people would finally have their asses in the seats, and everyone would be screaming it. And so, like, it was just it's just an all-time thing. It has to be retired here. It doesn't matter if it's a Hall of Fame type of career. It's an organizational. This is what you meant to us for such a long time.
And well, that's
and you were the key guy.
Too. That should be how it is too. Is it should be what you meant to the organization and not Major League Baseball. I mean, if you obviously extend to Major League Baseball, then obviously at that point you're talking Hall of Fame. But everything Charlie did was for the Rockies, for the fans here, and that should be when you retire numbers. I mean, I go through the Yankee numbers sometimes, and I still wonder about Roger Maris. Not that he wasn't deserving, but does he really? Should he really be amongst those greats when he wasn't in the Bronx that long and
the home run record guy?
But that's all he did though. It was a season of good hitting. Sometimes you got to wonder if did he mean that much to the Yankees? But I mean, I didn't get to watch him play. I just know of the stories. We know the legend of what is the Maris Mantle chase, the M&M boys, and Charlie's. I think Charlie will be up amongst the other two greats.
Yeah.
What do you have against Barry Pepper?
I prefer salt.
I'm more of a banana guy. I don't know.
Oh, hey.
It's word.
So yeah, I don't know. You look through the Rockies' numbers over he's second amongst a lot of these things, obviously behind Todd Helton.
Yeah.
Leads in triples, tied with. Oh no, he just broke the tie with Cargo yesterday for home runs, I think. If not, he's tied with him still.
Second in hits.
Yeah, and second in total bases, first in triples, second in doubles, second in runs scored, plate appearances, at bats, hits. He leads in triples, fourth in runs batted in, third amongst base on balls, second behind EY Senior in stolen bases. I mean, there's not a whole lot that he doesn't trail just Todd Helton in.
And like I said, that's one of those things. At this moment in time, he was one of the greatest Rockies ever. And hopefully the Rockies are still here in 50 years under new ownership. And you're looking back and saying,
telling the story,
who the hell was Charlie Blackmon? Like, who is that guy? And you're sharing those stories and say, yeah, he might be 5th, 6th, 7th on the chart at that point in time. But one time he was one of the greatest.
He was a clean-shaven boy.
Rockies. he was baby face. I've just shown you those pictures.
Oh,
baby face Blackmon. He talked about shaving his beard.
Yeah, that's why I told him to do it a little bit at a time so he doesn't freak their kids out.
Yeah. he literally has said and his wife has never seen him without it.
No, that's what's even funnier. He's played for 14 years. He started growing it when he went on the IL, or back then the DL.
Yes.
When he did something to his leg. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, hey, keep that on the DL.
Me. But yeah, that was when he started growing it, and he hasn't, other than probably trimmed it, he hasn't done anything with it since.
I think you should just do. I mean, was that recently? Because how old are his kids? Are they old enough for him to do it now? Just fucking shock everyone?
No, they're like 4 and 2 or something like that.
Yeah, they're really young.
Yeah. If you wait till the youngest is like 5, get it.
Unfortunately,
you can still scar a kid at 5 years old.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the kid can understand that, that's about when they can understand that that's how shaving a beard works. Or have the kid in the room. Here, can help me shave the beard?
I don't know. I've seen those videos. That doesn't help either.
I don't know, Joe. I don't know.
I mean, you start reading when you're 5.
A little worried about your parenting style now.
That's when
Joe, if you shaved right now and cut your hair, you would freak me out, okay?
Yeah.
And my birthday is a few days away, and I'm about to be 40, all right? So don't tell me that a 5-year-old isn't going to be freaked out that his dad doesn't look like his dad anymore.
That's a you thing, though.
Nick,
All three of us
I'm
are
right there with
children
Colin,
in
dude.
different
You,
ways.
if you would total clean it up, dude, I would probably just drop dead. Be like, nope.
We don't need your ID. We know.
Yeah, we know. We've seen it.
Well, it's too late now.
I still wouldn't believe it.
I'm already here.
It's
Wait.
That's a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea. You should probably.
Yeah, you're probably
doxing yourself.
Or yeah.
Oh, it's fine. There's nothing like
your date of birth and your ID number to steal or anything like that.
Yeah, this is going to expire in a little bit anyway. We're good.
Your ID number doesn't change, Joe.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
And neither does your birth date.
Birth date. I mean, you can get your birth date from anywhere though. But yeah, that's Babyface Joe.
Oh Lord. Well, I got a question for you guys.
Okay.
Let's say you're playing for a football team and you have to travel to Florida, and your coach decides we're going to get you guys into a routine, because there's a hurricane coming.
There's a hurricane.
So we're going to get there a day early so we can beat the hurricane. But we're going to work through the hurricane, and then we're going to go play football if the stadium's still there. What is the biggest excitement of your life at that point? Do you want to go outside for a little bit and take in the hurricane? I mean, I'm a weather nerd, so I'm a little curious. I'm not worried about my football workout right now. I want to go I want to watch the hurricane. I want to see the palm trees actually bending over and waves crashing against buildings, and I don't know. I think I'd be more worried about wanting to have fun with a hurricane than I would if it was nice and sunny and going to the beach.
Well, first of all, Nick, if waves are crashing against the buildings, you're not going out, okay?
Hey, if the Weather Channel can do it, I can too.
The Weather Channel's not going out.
They're not going out if the waves are crashing against buildings, okay? They're going out while it's storming and, palm trees are swaying, okay? My uncle, what's up, Uncle Jimmy? Shout out. When he lives in North Carolina, but when the hurricanes go, he would go out there with his surfboard and catch the waves before it got too close, because some of the best waves you can surf. I'm the same way that I would go out and check it out to a certain point. I don't know how long that point would be until the pucker factor got too much for me to leave, but I would definitely get to a point of a pucker factor hanging out and seeing what would happen. I don't know if the lightning strike would necessarily scare me right away. It would depend on how close. If it was the lightning and then the thunder right away, and it was I knew it was right overhead, I'd freak out.
Those.
Yeah, I might have some new boxers after that.
Yeah, that always startles me. That happens around here, because sometimes you're just that close to the lightning. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
But yeah, no, I would go out and hang out in it. Would I want to be doing football things or even baseball or any other sort of sports activities? Probably. No, but you know what? The CU Buffs need to practice running the damn ball.
Wet ball.
So if you can run the ball in a hurricane, you can run the ball in rain, in some light rain. They had light rain last week. They're going to try and run it this next week.
That's stupid. Why would they ever do anything to prepare for an eventuality like weather? That's ridiculous. If you don't know for sure it's going to happen, why would you even prepare for it? That's dumb.
Terrible idea.
That was my favorite part of that press conference. No, why would we prepare for something that we're not sure is going to happen? You mean contingencies, like preparations, like normal game planning? What? Yes, of course you do. You prepare in case it's going to rain. If the forecast says baby rain.
Rain?
Rain.
Is it a hurricane rain?
That's like rain.
It's a rain.
You just say it really slowly and seriously.
Emphasize it much more at the end.
You have to put the right emphasis and the right syllable.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's it going to take for you to walk out of Central Florida with a dub? I mean, obviously they're liking to take things to the last minute, the last few games.
Don't go to the adult portion of Disney World and spend all your money on princesses
Yep. Just because you got all this NIL money doesn't mean that you need to go get $1,000 lightsaber from fucking.
Well, no, that does mean that.
Just because you have more NIL money than
doesn't
the
mean
UNLV quarterback doesn't mean you should spend it all in one place. No, you
One
guys don't know that
casino.
story?
No.
Yeah, the kid left over NIL stuff.
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
so
and
their
Nevada.
quarterback who's
Nevada quarterback who's going to redshirt now because he was promised.
Yes, and who's led them to an undefeated record.
Yeah.
And now he is not playing. Yeah. So don't spend all your money there. Make sure the check is cleared already first.
Make sure the check.
What's it going to take? This, besides the road trip to TCU last year, this team has not shown an ability to play on the road. So they're going to have to show some restraint, some discipline, and be there for football. So, yeah, is it going to be tough with all that stuff going on? Yeah, but also they're in Central Florida. They're in Orlando. So they're still 2 hours away from the beach. They're, hour and a half. So they still got a ways to go. Not that there aren't distractions in Orlando. I think they need to realize that they're there for football and take the win again from CSU, take that victory and know that they have to build upon it because they haven't done anything this year. In all actuality, they've done less this year than they did last year as it stands because they lost to Nebraska. And I know, I know there's more expectations this year and there were very few expectations last year, at least from the national media, but they haven't done anything yet. And they have to realize that because sorry, Nick, CSU is not moving the meter on how good this team is or could be.
Sadly.
So they have to build on that momentum and see if they can get something going in the right directions heading into, they have a lot of tough games coming up. And if you start losing games like this because you're focused on the next week, much like I felt like the Oregon game last year, how Shedeur was focused on playing Caleb Williams the next week.
Yeah.
You're in trouble as a team.
Yeah, now Bo Nix is showing what he did to Shedeur in the NFL. Central Florida is not a bad team too. Like they're nothing to shake a stick at. And they've been shaking some sticks, let me tell you. No, that's not something you can overlook. They're definitely a team that, it's, and I guess they want to be in a higher echelon than Central Florida, but yeah, the fact is they're just not. They need to keep proving it against these kind of teams. And yeah, you're right. At this point last year, they were about to have their first big loss and hadn't had it yet. Where this year, they already had their first big loss against Nebraska. So yeah, they're behind the 8 ball already. And they're going up against a team that's similar. Who was their first loss was like Stanford, I want to say.
CU?
Yeah, last year. Who was
Oregon.
their first loss?
Yeah.
Oregon. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't say they're quite as good as Oregon was last year, but like this is still a good team that you absolutely could end up just losing to a complete football team.
Yeah, my comparison is that they went into Oregon thinking they were hot crap, and they were going to go beat them and run over them. If they have that same attitude going into UCF, they're going to get beat there, and that's what I'm talking about. Or once again, that the other portion of that too were the guys looking ahead to rather playing Caleb Williams and that big time primetime matchup at USC next year, whereas the Buffs could be looking ahead 1 week again. So where's your focus? Are they focused on this game ahead of them, or are they gonna just kind of be all right, whatever, we should take care of them, they're lower tier team and think they're, like I said, hot shit?
So UCF obviously is 3-0. They're coming into this game, they beat New Hampshire 57-3. They beat Sam Houston 45-14. And they squeaked by TCU 35-34. The spread right now is 14 in favor of UCF. The over-under 61.5. And the Buffs on the money line right now, according to ESPN Bet, is plus 425.
For UCF?
For Colorado.
Colorado's 425?
Plus 425 on the money line. So that's what they're looking at right now.
Give me a minute.
Yeah.
Well, this is obviously from, as I said, from ESPN.
That's fine. I don't care. They're not going to be that different.
No. I was just saying that I just wanted to give credit.
It's worth it. Oh, it's worth a little.
Okay, we're on the same page then.
It's worth a little moment, real quick.
Yeah.
If it's
And Buffs come in 3-1. They beat North Dakota State 31-26. They lost to Nebraska 28-10. They beat CSU 28-9, and then obviously the squeak by Baylor last week at 38-31. So obviously UCF has an offense that can get going, but I don't know how I feel about Sam Houston and Colin. That was a
no. Did you hear that, Joe?
Oh yeah, something with your mic, Nick.
Your mic went way crazy.
Yeah, it just
really.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine now, but man. Yeah.
Huh. I wonder if it was when I sat down my phone.
Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, if you just did it, then that's what happened. All right, cool, locked in.
So
Weird.
TCU, which one did you find?
425. Yep. And I hit the plus 14 too.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah.
I mean that's a big number. Like, UCF is a good program, and so I didn't realize that. Maybe that's a little bit of shade being thrown at CU. Maybe they aren't going to take this lightly. I don't know, because the line in the Oregon game last year was 21.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but Oregon was like a national championship, but like a college football playoff contending team at that point. Where Central Florida, they have a great home like stadium and atmosphere, so I think that's part of it too, why they're so heavily favored. But not quite. They wouldn't be like 21 like Oregon would be, but it's still absolutely a game where they're. I'm a little surprised that that Central Florida is favored that much, but you know what? Yeah, they're a good home team and they're a good program, so fuck it. Yeah.
Like I said, what is CU proven to this
exactly
point, besides in their own minds? That's what they have to get out of. They can't just be like we're the greatest team ever. That we are the best because we beat these two teams. No, you got to go out there and win these other games ahead of you. And you can't look ahead to K-State and your Big 12 matchups.
No, 1 week at a time.
But look at my watch though.
Yeah. Oh, that kid. Anyway, so the Broncos won a game last Sunday. If they win this Sunday, it's 2 in a row. And if they win the Sunday after that, that's called a winning streak.
Numbers.
But let's start with the Jets.
You said the same thing last year, Nick, and it worked.
I know.
There you go. Look, yeah.
I should have had that segment ready.
Ready first, folks.
Yeah, I didn't think about it either, but I do remember saying that.
You pretty much said the exact same thing.
Yeah, no,
I trust me, I remember it.
Yeah, because it's the line from Major League.
No, I know. I know. You said. I thought you said I probably said. I'm like, no, you definitely said that exact same thing.
Yeah,
I know what
sure did.
I know what it is. You just need a cigar. You need a cigar and a mustache to say it.
Well, I'm not gonna have the mustache, but give me 2 minutes. I got a cigar to line up. What's it gonna take for the Broncos to beat the Jets? I mean, this is AA Ron. Is AA Ron as good as he portrays still? I mean, he's got some decent tools. I mean, do we buy the Jets or the Jets? Do we buy the Jets are real?
Hell yeah, I do.
I mean, they are real. They exist. They were real last year too. They were just real bad. Yeah. I mean, they have a good defense. They have talented players. I wish Aaron Rodgers would throw it to Garrett Wilson just a little bit more. But yeah, man, he's starting to look more and more like Rodgers. It kind of looks like those early games in the very first year of Peyton Manning here, when the Broncos went like 1-4 or 1-3 or something, and lost to some good playoff contending teams in the Texans. I want to say the Chargers or something also, but it started to look better and better each week. And then eventually in that season, it was like, holy shit, we have Peyton Manning. I'm not saying it's going to get to that point with the Jets because Rodgers is coming off of a different kind of injury, but man, he's looking more and more like Aaron Rodgers every week.
So I don't know who was here on Sunday night with all their Bronco gear on, but that guy was a little wild.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
You're right.
Damn.
I'm sorry. I was hoping the mask would cover it up, but you could clearly see my hair and beard through all of it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I put the glasses on over it.
The fact, you brought up Peyton Manning and that team. The fact that the similarity between that team with the Broncos and these Jets are that Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback is going to find whoever's open. And you're right. I know, Joe. I know you wish Garrett Wilson would get force-fed the ball. Trust me. I do too on one of my fantasy teams as well. But the fact is Aaron Rodgers isn't going to do that. He is a quarterback who will find the right guys because Garrett Wilson is not Devontae Adams. If it was Devontae Adams, yeah, he would force feed him the ball. But up against PS2, I don't think he would do that either, even in this case, just because of how good PS2 is playing. So he's going to find guys, whether it's Alan Lazard, Mike Williams, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, their backup rookie running back. He's going to find those guys, Tyler Conklin, to make plays. So it doesn't really matter because that was the same thing Peyton Manning did. It was like, oh, well, you're open. Okay, it's going to you here. Okay, we're designing this play for you. Cool, it's you. Oh, wait, that's covered. Second guy. There we go. And that's what I see with Aaron Rodgers. And this is much more of a revenge game than anything that happened last year. I know there was talk going into it, but the whole this is literally, hey, keep my coach's name out of your mouth for Aaron Rodgers because he didn't get a play last year, obviously, in this game. So he is going to put it on the Broncos any way possible. And that means that I think he's going to play smarter football and just I don't know who's going to be open or what the guy is going to be or what the recipe is going to be, but I'm afraid for the Broncos this weekend that this is going to be a pretty significant beatdown just because Aaron Rodgers he's not going to try and force it. He's going to just find a way to pummel this team. And the Broncos defense can stand up like it did last week. Then I'd be really surprised and I'd change some of my tune about it. I just can't see that happening with the second game of a road trip. And Breece Hall's history against the Broncos, you can't ignore how good he plays against the Broncos, even if it's just for 3 rushes and 120 yards or whatever the hell it was before his ACL here.
Yeah, but Nick and I aren't going to be in the stands this time, so it should be fine.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, by the way, on whatever platform you're watching us. Make sure to share, like, comment, get involved. We got abilities for you to talk to us over here. So thanks for everybody for tuning in. And by the way, don't forget the Broncos are now missing Alex Singleton too. So that's going to affect the run game significantly because somebody's going to have to step up and fill his shoes. Because I'm not going to lie, my man's playing with a torn ACL through an entire football game.
There it is again.
Yep.
That was weird. Yeah. But yeah, no, he pulled a John Elway. He played most of the game. Like it's not totally for sure that he tore it in the first quarter, but it appears that he tore it in the first quarter. And then the rest of the game, he looks off. And it's kind of awesome. We had a John Elway moment at linebacker, but also now, fuck.
It's Broncos signed 2 guys off the streets. Not Zach Cunningham and Quan Alexander, I believe, are the 2.
Nuts.
And,
I was about to say it, but you got it.
And then Sternad is the one who's stepping in this week to play.
And then Drew Sanders is still hurt, right?
I don't think Sanders has been in the conversation yet.
Yeah, I don't think I've even heard his name.
So yeah, all I've heard is Justin Sternad is the guy who's supposed to step in. Who, I heard this stat. He's had 5 tackles in 16 games or 17 games the last 2 seasons.
Fuck yeah.
So he's got to basically match his last 2 seasons worth of production in this game and not get smoked. And that's why I brought up Tyler Conklin also, because you're missing your middle linebacker. Tight end for the Jets is Broncos have struggled for a long time against that position. And so if Rodgers is smart, this is like, heck, I might just say put down like a 2 or 3 touchdown bet on Conklin, because that could really be where they find their money, or it's a running game. Like
I would do the 1 for sure, the 2 or 3, man, you never know. But
it's like you put $10 on something that's plus 2,000.
That's a good point. You never know. But and Rodgers has developed into more of a tight end guy over his career too. Early on, the Packers didn't have shit at tight end, and they'd have some guys he wouldn't really throw it to him much. And then it was really, I remember Tanyan that really kind of got him to start throwing it to the tight end more, because a lot of the time it was just blocking guys. Like Mercedes Lewis was there forever.
Well, Jimmy Graham went up there too.
To the Packers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Jimmy Graham. That's when he first started kind of utilizing the tight end receiving a little bit more, and then Tanyan came right after. But yeah,
JL Skinner's going to be out too.
Skinner, are you frozen, Joe? Yep.
Yeah. Frozen.
I was like, he's either trying to look if I'm actually saying the truth about Graham being a Packer, or like I thought you were looking intently at me for a moment. Man, what is going on? Nick's microphone is. I mean, you're okay,
dude.
now,
I don't know what happened because I haven't touched it.
It happened. It just happened twice, and then you were frozen, staring at the screen like I was an idiot. I'm like, no,
that's awesome. I love. I got the swirls that it was. I think it's my laptop in general. I need to clean it up and get rid of a lot of stuff.
That was kind of the start of Aaron Rodgers utilizing the tight end. A lot more was having Jimmy Graham and a reliable receiver at that position. Not that he, like I said, didn't before, but it was one of those things like, okay, we can use this position to win games now. And then it really flourished with Tanyan. And I think Tanyan had like an 8 or 10 touchdown season with him.
Yeah, he played well. Like I remember that he had like Andrew Corliss, just a bunch of guys that were like, yeah, he can get a couple of catches, do some blocking and stuff. Then maybe he'd have like a big touchdown game. But it was Jimmy Graham, Robert Tanyan, those kind of guys. And then now, that's just kind of been his MO. He likes throwing because it's a big, easy target. What's not to like? Conklin was kind of wasted the past few years with Zach Wilson just kind of not knowing what to do. And, who's going to teach him? Nathaniel Hackett?
Everything was wasted in New Jersey.
Yeah.
You're right. Sorry.
New Jersey, York the last few years.
Yeah, New York.
So we're at that time. So predictions Sunday, 11 a.m. Broncos Jets in New Jersey. Colin?
Well, it didn't work last time, so we'll see if it works this time.
It's gonna work.
34. I kind of just want to say 34-6. I'm worried about their defense stopping Bo Nix in the second game of a road trip. I don't know if the Broncos get into double digits. I'll say 34-10. They find a way to get a touchdown at some point.
Broncos?
No.
just making sure.
34-10 Broncos.
Number
here first, folks.
I was just saying. I think the Broncos find the end zone somehow.
Okay, that's why I was
picking another blowout.
That's 10 field goals and 2 safeties for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Joe?
I don't think it's gonna be that bad, but I don't envision it's. We thought the victory was, very unlikely. No victory is ever impossible, but I still don't think it's very likely. So I kind of want to just pick the same way. It's got to be the Jets. Let's go. I feel like they're still not quite completely on track, but they're still like good. The Broncos defense, they've got the one guy, maybe like 27. Broncos 16.
27-16.
Wow. That's actually close to what I was thinking. I was thinking 27-13.
16.
13.
All right. Well, that means it's a victory for the Jets. Let's get into our victories over the last few days.
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
The Pick'em segment, proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Least. Featuring Nick Archuleta wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin just kind of winging it.
That's right. This is the victory formation where we make real bets with fake money. And capture it all year long.
One more time.
I had it set on repeat so that we could play the last outro song, and I forgot to take that up. That's okay. I will say this one more time, though. We all picked the Jets, so I guess that means that the Broncos are
going to win.
Put your money on the Broncos and win some more money. Well, let's get into the last few games of last week. The ones that were not played at the time of our previous recording. Jaguars and Bills. Joe, you picked the Jaguars, and they stayed in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So me and Nick won that one. We all chose the Bengals over the Commanders.
That didn't work.
Yeah. I even said I should have gone Commanders in that one. I almost did, but didn't. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Almost doesn't count. The fake money was put down, so we all lost that one in a sweep. And then I remember, Joe told me that he was taking the Giants on Thursday night or something like that. Just kidding. We all picked the Cowboys to win, which means that Nick and I both went 2-1. Joe went 1-2. Joe lost $6.08. Nick and I both won $18.27. And we have a change in the standings, folks. Nick still in first at $675.91. I've moved into second place at $603.77.
Oh, damn.
And Joe fell below 600 at $596.53. Let's get into this weekend's picks before our show on Monday, just so everyone knows. Picking games through the weekend, or on Sunday, picking games up through Sunday Night Football this weekend, and then we'll have our show on Sunday where we will pick the rest of the games up until our next show, whether it's Friday or Saturday of this next week. But that is how it's going. So we're going to start off with one of the best games in baseball that could have a lot of implications on Sunday. There's no Sunday Night Baseball, but there is Royals versus Braves on Sunday afternoon. Both teams trying to get in the playoffs. Nick, now Nick didn't know which game it was. He actually couldn't do any research on pitcher, so he's going to take 5 minutes to decide who's throwing and if it matters.
Pick Kansas City.
He's picking KC. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
They've been good. They're turning it around after their little 2-week losing streak.
Okay.
I
remember how weak. I remember how weak the Central was.
It is weak.
How bad they are.
The Central is weak.
All right, cool.
How did the Brewers and the Guardians clinch in early August? Oh, that's right, because the rest of the teams suck.
Guardians didn't clinch until
it was just
like a week ago.
It was intended to be.
So get your facts straight.
Yeah, shut off.
Joe, who you got? Royals or Braves?
Braves. Fuck it. I put a lot of thought into that one.
I am choosing the Braves also in this because I want to see the last two games on Monday between the Mets and Braves mean something. Because they had a postponement because of this weather. So now they have a doubleheader on Monday.
Rain.
After the season to see where the final standings are going to be. So give me the Braves, let the Mets win some. Oh man, let's have a fun end to this season.
Oh, that's going to be so fun to watch.
And you know what's back? You know what else is fun to watch?
Grimace.
That's hockey. It is hockey. Hockey season has started, and we have on Sunday afternoon, whatever, 5:00. The Penguins and future Colorado Avalanche member Sidney Crosby go and take on the Senators. Joe, who you got?
Well, I don't think the Senators have any future Avalanche players, so let's take the Penguins.
Joe is taking the Penguins. I'm going to take the Senators at home because there's nothing to know about anything in the hockey season at the start, really. Besides, I know the Penguins are rebuilding, but they still have Sidney Crosby. But the Senators at home, why not? Nick, who you got?
Give me the Sens.
All right.
Sick.
We move on to actually what could be one of the best games of the season in the NFL. That is Sunday Night Football, Bills versus Ravens. This is in Baltimore. Baltimore got the Bills, after how they looked last week, it's hard to figure out how to stop them. But one thing that I thought from the very beginning of this year, it might take a few weeks for the Ravens defense to really figure it out and where they're meshing and what they need to do. And I think at home they get the victory. So give me the Ravens over the Bills. Nick, who you got?
After this terrible start, I still just can't believe in Baltimore yet. Give me Buffalo.
Who are you taking? Sorry, your mic got really quiet.
No.
Who are you taking? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's because you leaned back also. I couldn't tell.
Oh, no, I was looking at the schedule. I said I still can't believe in Baltimore after this bad start, so give me Buffalo.
Joe, who you got?
Both of those sentiments are hard to disagree with. I just feel like somehow Buffalo has it together, but this might be the game where Baltimore finally gets a win over a big team and starts to kind of get on. Buffalo
All the way this time.
Buffalo all the way this time.
You would make Brandon Perna very happy with that pick. And you know what?
That's my goal.
Since that is done, we send this
To Brandon Perna.
into a daydream.
Thank you, Brandon Perna, for inspiring us. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. We appreciate you. Little afternoon delight, a little snacky, a little tea, little crumpets, some croquettes, whatever else you were
I don't want to talk about food. We had a hell of a day in the kitchen today.
Just because you said afternoon delight, I want to do that scene from Anchorman. What is love like, Ron? Well, let me tell you.
So before Joe really sends us off the rails, thank you, Michael Spillane. Everybody over at ep.122sports.com. We appreciate you for hosting us. Thank you, Pikes Peak Sports Cards, our sponsor. We appreciate you as well. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Once again, share, love, like, tune in, repeat, and, wash, lather, rinse, repeat.
We'll see you Sunday night.
Yes, Sunday night. Enjoy your weekend. Go Buffs. Go Broncos.
Yeah,
Go Rockies.
Rams,
Two more games.
Who the Rams playing?
Feel bad for you, Oakland.
2 more wins. We love you, Oakland.
Cleveland. He's a Guardians fan.
No,
he's a Guardians fan.
It was the Browns.
He loves the Guardians.
He supports Deshaun Watson.
No, the Guardians. It's even worse. It's even worse than saying the Guardians.
They should still be the Indians.